ice cream cake. I've got my ice cream out of the freezer, so it's going to soften up for us. And then I've got just a loaf pan, just kind of a regular, I think it's like 2 centimeters by 11 centimeters, which I'll give you the imperial measurements in the recipe, in the written recipe. I'm just going to line I'm using some waxed paper, but you could use baking paper, you can use foil, you can use cling wrap, whatever you've got. We just want something that's going to line the tin and make it easy for us to get our ice cream cake out. And I like to use paper just because it looks nicer, but the others are, and it's easier to handle than cling wrap, but anything's fine. So then to make life a bit easier, I've just got a couple of little pegs. And try and keep it, don't stress about it, but just try and line it as smoothly as possible, because it's going to make your finished ice cream cake have less wrinkles, but it's not the end of the world. So tin's ready, ice cream's out. So now we'll make our cookie dough. So we just want 150 grams, which is 5 ounces each of butter and brown sugar. So let's put my butter there. And I've had this butter out of the fridge for a little while, just so it softens and it's going to be easier to cream in the food processor. And you could use a food processor or a stand mixer, either's fine for that. Same again of brown sugar. So 150 grams or 5 ounces. Put in the food processor and just whiz it until it goes lightly creamy. So, and it doesn't have to be on a super high heat, just something like that. And it's just going to take a couple of minutes. So when it's gone kind of pale and creamy like that, you can see the colours change quite a bit from the brown sugar. I'm just going to scrape down the sides because there'll be bits that haven't mixed in as well. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of water, and this, normally I'd be adding an egg here, but because we're going to be eating this raw, essentially, it's just going to be frozen. I thought we didn't really need the danger of raw egg in there. So just 3 tablespoons of water, or you could use milk if you like, I guess. It doesn't really matter. So then just give that another whisk until the water's combined in. Beautiful. And now we're going to get our flour in. So actually, I might take the beater out. I'm just going to fold the flour in by hand, so there's no need to use the beaters for that. So we just need to weigh out our flour. So we want 150 grams of plain flour or all-purpose flour, which is 5 ounces. And again, if I was making cookies, I'd be using some sort of baking powder or baking soda. Actually, bicarb soda, I usually use a combination of both. But since we're not baking these, there's no need for that, so I'll just keep it simple. But if you only had plain flour and self-raising flour in the house, that would be fine, just use it. But yeah, don't ever try and bake this cookie dough. It's not going to turn into great cookies. It's not designed for that. So 150 grams, 5 ounces of flour, and just getting our spatula, and we just want to fold it essentially until it stops looking powdery. And I could have done this while so it's up to you. I just like to keep it pretty rustic. And I'm using dark chocolate because that's my favourite, but if you wanted to use milk or whatever chocolate you feel like, that's fine. And if you wanted to skip the chocolate, that would be fine too. You could just have a kind of a lovely cookie dough ice cream. And if you wanted to do something a bit different, you could replace the chocolate with some roasted nuts, like hazelnuts would be really lovely in something like this, or roasted macadamias or pistachios, whatever you feel like. It's a really versatile kind of dessert recipe. So we want 150 grams, so I'll just break this pack in half. kind of smaller chunks and bigger chunks and make it really irregular. So I'm going to even go as far as chopping some with my knife, so you get little shavings of chocolate in there as well as your bigger chunks. Let's go into the cookie dough mixture. Make sure you get all those lovely tiny shards of chocolate in there. So my favourite bit. And we just mix that through. It won't take very long. Hopefully our ice cream will be soft enough. Just make some space. So we want, so just any vanilla ice cream is fine. And you want about 1 litre, which is about 2 pints. So what we're going to do, oh yeah, this is soft, this is great. So we'll just put scoops of ice cream in the base. And it's up to you. If you want the top of your cake to look smooth and ice creamy, you can just do a kind of layer of ice cream in the bottom. But I want to show some of my chopped chip cookie chunks. So what I'll do is I'll just do some scoops of ice cream. And then I'm going to layer in some of our cookie dough mixture. And I think smaller pieces of cookie dough are nicer than larger ones because they're going to freeze firmer than the ice cream. And it's going to be crunchier and chunkier than the ice cream. So it's a good idea to spread them out as much as you can be bothered. So little fingers are good here. And then we're just going to layer over more ice cream. So what you want to do is wherever you've got cookie dough, try and cover it up with ice cream. So you get kind of a patchwork thing going on. And fingers really are best in here. Ice cream covered, then just more cookie dough. Okay, so when you've got all your mixture in, just scraping out the last of the ice cream, then we just want to smooth it so it's kind of flat, so our cake will actually sit on a tray when we turn it out. But don't worry about it too much because remember this is going to be the bottom of the cake when you turn it out onto your tray, so it's not super important. Yum, that looks great. Then just get another piece of baking paper or whatever you're using. I've got dirty fingers. And just push it down on the surface just to stop it from drying out in the freezer. And then I'm just going to pop that in the freezer for at least three hours. Okay, so when you're ready to serve your ice cream cake, all we need to do is just peel the top layer of paper or foil or whatever you've used off, and it should come away nice and cleanly. Of course I've got a bit sticking, that's fine. And if you're, I'm going to be taking photos of this, so I've just got it out of the freezer right away, but if I was serving it up today, I would have got it out of the freezer, maybe popped it in the fridge for about half an hour just to soften up a little bit, because the cookie dough pieces can be fairly hard, but it's fine, just whatever you feel like. And then all we need to do is lift it out and pull back our paper, and depending on what you've used, it'll be easier or harder to remove the paper, and also how long it's been in the fridge. And then just get your tray. I'm going to be serving it on this just because it looks pretty for the photos, but normally I'd use just a plate. And then just carefully remove all your paper or foil because you don't want to leave any on. and then just slice and it's good to serve. So if you enjoyed this recipe, really encourage you to come on over and visit my blog. It's thestonesoup.com, and if you sign up for free email updates, you'll be able to download a copy of my free e-cookbook, which is jam-packed with video recipes just like this one. So I hope to see you soon.